Hello, welcome to episode 2 of Don't Kill the Cat. What is this? Hello. You can see the live split speedrunning setup that I've made. Yeah, of course it's a meme, but the purpose of this is to limit how much time I'm spending on these intros. It's hard to edit. That should be my tagline. How am I gonna edit this? The quote of the day is, "The pen is mightier than the sword." Metonymic adage. What's a metonymic and what's an adage? Metonymy is a figure of speech in which a concept is referred to by the name of something closely associated with that thing or concept. The Pentagon is the given example here. And is adage correct, or is it a adage? Oh, it's an adage, of course. Adage is probably the French way of saying it. A proverb. Simple traditional saying that expresses a perceived truth based on common sense or experience. Yes, clickety click. Indicating that the written word is more effective than violence as a means of social or political change. This sentiment has been expressed with metamorphical contrasts of writing implements and weapons for thousands of years. The specific wording was first used in 1839, but I'm sure that it has probably been used in literature way before that, since it really sounds like a very olden saying. What I wanted to integrate within this saying was I wanted to use the name of the rapper Notorious. His name has B.I.G. as an abbreviation for this particular event because it's a children's schools charity. B.I.G. is also said to stand for books instead of guns. What's interesting is that most of his songs are about violence. Maybe he was implying we should rather try to replace violence with education, which is especially significant for the area in which he grew up.
The B.I.G. in the Notorious B.I.G.'s name stands for business instead of game.
One of the first things that I wanted to add to this series was garbage waste disposal, the large bins, whether they're ever disinfected. Because obviously when you have so much bio waste going in one place and sitting there and rotting, it could be breeding grounds for many disease-causing agents. I wasn't able to find any information on it when I looked it up few years ago. Genericized trademark. Dumpster disinfection. Sanitizing and disinfecting services. So apparently someone already thought of this, but it's a company. The fact that we're getting random companies that deal with certain services that don't exactly focus on what I had in mind means that this isn't common practice. Dumpster Safety 101. What you need to know about these bulky bins. There are 3 main things you need to know about dumpster safety. Where to store a dumpster, how to operate a dumpster, and how to keep a dumpster clean. Where to store a dumpster, who is throwing out the trash, who is seeing the trash. Yeah, by the way, everyone, please close your dumpster covering lids because you have street animals ravaging through them, and that's obviously another way to spread disease. Never enter a dumpster. It is what it is.
Ah, look who's here.
Do not dispose of hazardous waste. Yeah, I don't think that whoever is doing that is gonna ever get to this page. How to keep dumpster area clean. If the odor, grease, and grime is just unbearable, then you can clean your dumpster. Cleaning your dumpster is a great way to kill germs and bacteria that builds up to reduce emanating odors. How often you should clean your dumpster will vary, but typically you would not need to clean it more than once a month. Oh, I would feel bad for the person that has to clean it once a month. I mean, if you're just doing it because you don't want your dumpster to smell, this should be done by the company that's collecting the trash because they're responsible for these dumpsters, providing them. I think this should be a requirement. One option would be to hire a professional cleaning company that specializes in dumpster cleaning to do the work for you. Yeah, we didn't find any, as cleaning your dumpster poses safety and environmental risks. Yeah, if you're draining the water, if you're just rinsing it with water, and if you're draining it into the sewage, obviously it's a health risk as well. You have to disinfect it first, neutralize the pathogens, and then perhaps you could wash it and rinse it off. I think that DuckDuckGo queries Google results as well. LinkedIn, another profile of a company. Janitor Supply Company Inc. Bacteria, mold. So apparently someone has already thought of this, but it hasn't been made a thing. Disinfection, cleaning, maintenance. See, you don't have any of this within Wikipedia, meaning that it's most likely not really a popular practice, so it's not worth it to write about. That's not really a good thing. Yeah, this is a DIY again. So there are some companies that have thought of it, but not as much as they should have. Hexane, a solvent in vegetable oil production. We're going to read whether it's healthy or not. Let's just check the little thing first here. Flammable, exclamation mark, whatever that means. It's a health hazard, and it's a pollutant, environmental hazard. In industry, hexanes are used in the formulation of glues for shoes, leather products, and roofing. I think that I read this in some wacky health article. Of course, we know that the legitimacy of Wikipedia also depends on user credibility. This tag here in Wikipedia mentions that there is no source for this. They're also used to extract cooking oils such as canola oil or soy oil from seeds for cleansing and degreasing a variety of items, and in textile manufacturing. They are commonly used in food-based soybean oil extraction in the United States and are potentially present as contaminants in all soy food products in which the technique is used. Citation needed, but I think that since we're already seeing this recurring mention of this presence of these hexanes in cooking oil extraction, that it's probably reasonable to presume that this is in fact reality. I don't think it's rational for someone to randomly come up with this and try to spread it as fake news, try to creep people out. The lack of regulation by the FDA of this contaminant is a matter of some controversy. So here we have articles that are linked. We could click on them. They already deal with this concern that there's lack of regulation. So if there are articles covering this, then it's probably reality. A study found hexane in soy protein. Should you stop eating veggie burgers? Many non-organic soy products contain traces of organic. For whoever is an American is bio. Organic production is supposed to limit the use of pesticides and chemicals, as in the case, to process foods. May contain traces of the neurotoxin hexane, according to a report by a research group that supports organic and sustainable agriculture. How worried should soy foodies be? I couldn't find the statistic anymore. Over 90% of world production of soy is genetically modified, so that's also a concern. Politically correct activists, I also wanted to mention, since we got into the quote, whether it's the pen or the keyboard, for keyboard warrior, people that like to fight online, whoever is focused on something scandalous and scary, they like to disprove them, but they don't really have much data to disprove them either. See, you can see like needles poking into, it's just a bunch of nonsense. Obviously, that's not what GMO is. I think I found the page where that table was. I tried looking for it, but the table was removed. Yeah, so that's a little bit questionable. Melting point is negative 94 Celsius. So that's below zero, that's below freezing point, and boiling point is over 70. This is obviously bad because if it's a byproduct mixed into oils, you're obviously going to be cooking at over this temperature, which means that it's already melted, it's already in liquid form. And whenever you're cooking with these oils that contain this as a contaminant, right, it's going to be evaporating. If you don't consume it within the oil, it's going to be evaporating, potentially burning. No smoke point listed. You're going to be breathing it in. And if it's a neurotoxin, that's obviously unwanted. Slowly being replaced, so that means that it's still being used. And it's just
irresponsible.
So many industries are using it and already know about the harmful effects of these chemicals, and they don't immediately replace, and workers suffer because of this, and you get all these modern diseases that didn't exist some 100 years ago because of all these new supposedly beneficial things that we use for production. Sewer lines, wow. Illegally discharged from soybean processing plant owned by Ralston Purina. Nestle, all brand of premium dog food and cat food. Hexane was attributed as the cause of an explosion that occurred in... And let's see what type of... They said soybean oil. And what else? Canola oil or soy oil. So these are oils to try to avoid for this specific reason. Okay, see, we're at the page of cooking oils, and we got to the point where it says extraction. There are 3 broad types of oil extraction. Chemical solvent extraction, most commonly using hexane, but we still have to figure out what percentage of oils are extracted chemically. So they use distilling to try to clean it off from the hexane left over. I'm not sure what could occur at higher temperatures. Maybe there are some reactions between the oils and the hexane, and maybe it attaches to the atoms. The random topic is, does mineral water break up kidney stones? Drinking sparkling water may be a deterrent, a thing that is intended to discourage someone from doing something. Kidney stones, trying to pass out a urinary stone, can be very painful, and some people undergo the agony not once but multiple times. Patients with a recurring condition are advised to drink more water and watch what they eat. I think the uric acid, which I think is usually caused by a high concentration of sodium in the blood, it's produced more as a result of that. Obviously contaminants and remains of whatever that isn't able to get filtered by the kidneys. Urine that has become too concentrated allows waste chemicals to crystallize and urinary stones to form. Results after drinking sparkling mineral water for 1 week. Samples were collected before and after and analyzed for changes. It doesn't say how many. The results were generally positive. Participants on average produced a significant increase in urine volume, obviously because you're drinking a little bit more water. They're incentivized to drink water, meaning the participants had drunk substantial volumes of water. Some of the water is absorbed and used up in the body and expelled through other means. A decrease in urinary oxalate secretion and a significant increase in urinary magnesium, which means that oxalate acid, anion, it occurs naturally including some foods, variety of salts. Sodium oxalate. You're intaking more water, diluting the salts within the urine, and taking more minerals. Urinary calcium didn't increase by high calcium content in the mineral water. Urinary citrate, however, showed slight decrease. Larger randomized control study is being planned. Give me real results. So these are studies. This is good. Several risk factors were favorably altered by the mineral water and tap water regimens, but the former was more effective. So mineral water is beneficial to people with kidney issues. But the question was, does mineral water break up the kidney stones? It might be a misinterpretation. To the contrary, tap water produced an unfavorable change in the magnesium excretion. It is concluded that the mineral water containing calcium and magnesium, such as that used in the study, deserves to be considered as a possible therapeutic or prophylactic agent in calcium oxalate kidney stone disease. The claim among many, we already saw it in a study, it's not just a claim, they believe. Well, maybe they just believe it because it's backed by science. Causes kidney stones. That extra calcium in hard water clumps up and hardens into solid stones. High urine calcium levels. Risk factors include. This is not a belief. There are sources. Stones form in the kidney when minerals in urine, doesn't say what kind of minerals, are at high concentration. Calcium oxalate. So calcium binds to oxalate radicals, free radicals, diminishes the concentration. Sounds reasonable, but is it true? We just read it in like 5 different places that have actual science behind them. The answer is complicated and requires a deeper dive into hard water. Brave is probably hiding a lot of ads, especially in the speed reader review. This article apparently uses the shock factor to draw in viewers. Hard water might not directly cause kidney stones, but it is still a concern for many women because of the damage. Plumbing. Yes, your internal bodily plumbing. 20% increase from 2019. I think that this is generally due to tap water just gradually degrading in quality and contains so much calcium, but it's the chlorine that gives it such an awful. Calcium hypochlorite is commonly used to sanitize public swimming pools and disinfect drinking water. Generally, the commercial substances are sold with purity, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't say the percentage that's used though. Sodium hypochlorite bleach is usually preferred due to calcium residue making the water harder. Bleach is usually preferred. They put a little bit of bleach in our water, of course. Let's just drink some bleach. That seems like a sane thing to do. Sounds like if it has so much calcium in it, potentially helps with the formation of kidney stones. Alkaline water carries many largely false health claims, ranging from improving digestion and reducing cancer risk. Of course, these are all the theorists. Let's not call them conspiracies. Oh, they're implying that this is just used as marketing. But I think that generally, because it's alkaline, it has lower acidity. We all know that vegetables are beneficial for the body. Obviously, we know that fruits are also good for you. It has health benefits. And one of them is the alkalinity. Higher acidity within the human body creates an appropriate foundation for many diseases, bacterial and whatnot, and virus and cancers to form. It doesn't mean that if you're drinking alkaline water or bottled water, mineral water, you're gonna reduce your cancer risk, but it does mean that you're creating a less appropriate environment for these diseases to form within your body. And obviously, by association, it counteracts cancers. Is acid even a bad thing for kidney stones in the first place? It can be. Too much acid in your urine makes uric acid, calcium oxalate, and cyst in kidney stones more likely. Oh, they have references as well. That's good. It's not just random blabber. By far, calcium oxalate kidney stones are the most common type of kidney stone. Uric acid kidney stones are common as well. I've heard that as well. But maybe the acidic environment helps calcium oxalate stones form as well. I gotta ask my friends with medical backgrounds.
However, too little acid, or a high urine pH, makes calcium phosphate stones more likely to form.
Kidneys, the acid balancing powerhouse. Firstly, assuming you have working kidneys and lungs, your body is really good at keeping pH in the right range. This was episode 2 of Don't Kill the Cat. Bye! Cutting this episode off here. I might start a new one after this. Who knows? Don't kill the cat! Ah! Ah!